Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Insights and Innovation series for this somewhat cold Monday, where we have our wonderful partners at NEXXEN who are going to be educating us and enlightening us on all the things that are happening in their world, plus all the things that are CTV, and some wonderful case studies as well. We've got the great Rebecca Taylor, who's going to be talking to us and updating us on all these different things. Beck, over to you, and I'll keep my mouth shut.
Sounds good, Sam. Thank you. Appreciate it. Hey guys, I am Rebecca Taylor. People call me Beck. Some people call me Dodgy back at work. So however you see fit. For a quick intro, I've been at NEXXEN for about 5 years now. Have seen, a bunch of changes during this time, and obviously the exciting transition of what was maybe unruly to become NEXXEN. So bear with me. Any questions throughout the presentation, obviously feel free to ask. Can wait to the end, or feel free to email any questions that you might have. A few of you on this call I do work with, so it's great to see that you're on this call. And we'll kick away. Alrighty. Cool. There we go. So I guess what's in store for us today. So in this presentation, I'll be going into a little bit of an intro to NEXXEN for those who aren't too familiar with us, or perhaps need a light refresher on it. And I guess this will kind of also help form a clearer idea on the second part of what I'll discuss, which is very much a recap on what the CTV landscape looks like in Australia, leading us into a bit of ACR, and then a deep dive into TV intelligence, where I'll discuss TV viewership and the Vita ACR data. That's actually excitedly exclusive to NEXXEN. And then we'll wrap it up with a case study that was produced with Bupa, plus some additional insights, which I think would be really interesting for you guys to kind of close up the session on. So who are we? So really quickly, guys, for those of you unaware, we rebranded as NEXXEN late last year. So it was that merge between Unruly SSP and the Amobi DSP. And I suppose, those few months have been a bit of a journey for us in terms of, doing a lot of back-end product work, bringing everything together, bringing teams together, building a tech stack, demand to supply, making sure all those pipes and integrations work together. And I guess, a lot of what we're doing now in our business is taking all that hard work, talking to our partners on, who and how we can help support now that we have all this backing us up. And just to kind of recap in terms of where we are a flexible full stack solution. So we've got the demand side platform, we've got our data management platform. So some people might not be aware that we have our own DMP, and we also integrate with multiple DMPs as well. That's kind of how we house all of our unique NEXXEN data and build those lookalikes for any of our clients. And then we also have our own supply side platform, our own branding side of the business, NEXXEN Discovery, which kind of feeds into the TV intelligence part, and a lot of our TV capabilities as well. So I guess as we jump into, what that CTV landscape in AU looks like, this is also where the TV viewership audiences come into play. So overall, TV ownership and I guess also TV consumption stays really strong in Australia. And I guess this is kind of what we're focusing on here, is the evolving landscape of connected TV in Australia. So with a staggering 79% of Australian households now equipped with smart TVs, and we're seeing a projected 19% year-on-year growth in the next 3 years, it's very clear that CTV is becoming more of an integral part of daily life. And what's more is that the average individual spends over 21 hours per week consuming TV content, which really highlights that significant role television plays in our lives. And I guess in addition to this, we know that nearly 8 out of 10 CTV viewers actually prefer to watch in a co-viewing environment, which I guess just really emphasizes the social aspect of this medium. So these stats underscore the importance of leveraging connected TV more so as a key channel for reaching, but I think also engaging with the Australian audiences as well. And I guess it kind of just goes into, what we're looking at in today's TV landscape. It is more fragmented than ever before with the change of viewing consumption of consumers. And I suppose this then kind of creates a multitude of platforms and apps offering content streaming capabilities. So from your traditional broadcasters like your 7, your 9s, your 10s, for example, to what we would call OTT services. So your Netflix and Disney Plus and your Amazon Primes of the world, etc. Viewers now have these endless options, let's say, for accessing their favorite shows and movies as well. And so I guess in saying that, and amidst this abundance of content consumption options, I guess advertisers are becoming faced with a significant challenge, and that's really effectively targeting that TV viewing audiences. And this challenge is actually compounded by two key factors. So, firstly, it's the fragmentation of viewership behavior across those various platforms and apps. And that's what we saw in that previous slide. And then secondly, it's that lack of precise TV audience segmentation capabilities, which really impairs the issue. So these challenges just kind of underscore the critical need for a more comprehensive solution that can then, I guess, navigate these obstacles and then equip advertisers with the necessary tools to effectively reach their desired audiences. And excitedly, actually, this is kind of actually that we have really identified and invested in as part of our commitment to effectively target those TV viewing audiences as well. So this is something you might have seen in the trade press recently, but just something to kind of mention as part of this as well. So as we move on, it does lead us to the conversation on what is ACR. And so I'm sure most of you are across what this is, but just for those that don't, it is automatic content recognition. So to put it simply, I'd probably use the example of Shazam, for example, which I'm sure most of you are familiar with. So Shazam is that same kind of concept where that piece of technology is listening to that song, it's recognizing what it is, and then it's letting you know what content or what music that is. So in the context of, say, a TV show, ACR can be used to track and identify the content being viewed. So during the TV show, let's use Friends as an example. It's what I watch on the weekend. The ACR technology is actually employed to analyze the viewing patterns, but also deliver targeted advertisements based on the specific scenes viewers are watching. And then, we can consider actionable insights for its use, like channel suppression or retargeting, just as an example here. And so it leads us to that world of ACR. And there's actually 4 main players that have access to ACR data in Australia. So the first one is Samsung Ads. Samsung Ads actually one of the largest OEMs or operating systems to exist in Australia at the moment. There's about 7 million households in Australia that have a smart TV. And right now, Samsung have about 3 million within Australia. But then there's also your second, biggest ACR player in AU, which is Vita, which has an audience size of 1.3 mil. And they're usually across the likes of your more notable TV brands like your Hisense and your Toshiba. There's your Samba TV with an audience size of around 300K across the likes of your Philips and your Sony. And then something that's kind of coming around and, has been a light conversation is also LG Ads. So just a fun fact for you out there, a significant portion of your ACR data can actually also be accessed through us purely because we work with the likes of Samsung and then have that exclusivity with Vita. Cool. And so I guess as we kind of head closer to, the end of what those insights innovations, look like, I guess TV intelligence is that final section before sharing, what the case studies look like, I guess to build a better picture for you guys. And so I guess a suite of tools, really helps marketers reach and better understand your who, your where, your when, and your how to reach their target audience, as well as that ability to measure the performance of the campaign. So TV intelligence just brings all of your TV product assets together to provide a suite of solutions to help with a variety of, I guess, converged TV scenarios. And they're normally categorized into three overarching classifications. So you have your TV insights or your planner, you've got your TV activations, and then you also have your TV measurement. And so we have actually built solutions based on these three pillars using that Vita ACR data. So a TV planner will kind of plan out and I guess solve that challenge on spend and who to reach and, where across that linear and the B vote environments it kind of sits. And then you have that TV activation. So really providing, I guess, more precise and scalable reach for the TV viewing behavior. So you're looking at, viewership audiences and content targeting, for example. And then you want to be able to close that loop, right? So we use that TV measurement. So being able to provide our clients with deeper insights based on a campaign activation across your linear, your digital TV, and your digital as well. But with this, there are a bunch of benefits, but also a solution and I guess an approach to targeting the TV audiences with the ability to use the smart TV ACR powered audiences. So meaning that the exclusive ACR data is collected from 800K Vita operated Hisense and smart TVs, and then it's curated into actionable TV retargeting segments. Also, being able to leverage the ACR data from smart TVs more so for, I guess, a precise targeting and a tailored audience segmentation that we want to look at. And then finally, that solution, that and to making sure that it's totally, privacy compliant. So we've actually created a very strict process to ensure that we're GDPR and TCF compliant. So that's obviously something that is, super important there as well. However, there is also the ability to extend your reach by activating the TV viewership audiences and then leveraging, I guess, a unique blend of viewership data. So, for example, if you're running, a Coke ad, you can suppress the audiences who have already been exposed to this ad on linear TV. And then you can also look at retargeting viewers exposed to the Coke's ad on linear TV. And then you have that option to also expand your audience by targeting viewers exposed to, whoever Coke's competitors are. So it could be like Pepsi's TV ads, for example. And that kind of leads us into, I guess, the case studies. And I think, it's a really good way of leaving you guys with, I guess, building a bigger picture of what it could look like. So the first case study that I'll kind of take you through is using the Vita ACR in Australia with Bupa, who was one of our clients that used this. And the other is actually from our NEXXEN AU playbook. And it's a commitment we do from our solutions team, which pretty much just covers popular topics and popular content for the market. So it's derived from NEXXEN Discovery, which is all web consumption data, but also the Vita ACR or the TV viewership data. So we know that Bupa is one of, Australia's largest private health insurance. And they actually ran a campaign utilizing our TV intelligence solution. So more so focusing on the TV viewership audiences and that cross-screen measurement, just to, I guess, effectively maximize their linear and their digital TV screens budget. And just reach as many people in their target audience as possible by reducing duplication. So What they did was they leveraged the TV viewership audience segments. So they did that by excluding the viewers who were already exposed to their linear TV ads. And that actually effectively excluded a total of 830,000 households. And then the other part was to also target viewers of competitor ads, which actually estimated to have enhanced digital TV household reach by an increase of 16%. And then through that cross-screen measurement report, which really just provided details and I guess insights on cross-device behaviors facilitated by the ACR data, we were actually able to then identify an additional reach of 1.26 million households on digital TV, which actually represented about 39% incremental reach beyond their linear TV campaign. And the second was actually really interesting and I think really impressive as well. So 94% of households actually reached via BVOD weren't exposed to Bupa's ads on fast channels. So this, I guess, comparatively low overlap in viewership between your BVOD and your fast activities just demonstrates that the fast TV inventory is also an effective medium for augmenting TV reach beyond that linear and BVOD channel. So really effectively, we actually found new audiences that came from fast as well. The second one, and I guess this is kind of the one that we're ending on for today's session, is actually an excerpt taken out of that NEXXEN playbook. And this one in particular just focuses on the sports industry. So both tools enable your insights, so the measurement, as well as activation. So you can also push the audience segment, where we're using our NEXXEN Discovery platform. And it pulls two different types of data. So the first one is your Vita ACR, pulling in that TV viewership data. So it's looking at the Australian TV consumer and what they are predominantly watching in that sports realm, or sports space, we can call it. And we're seeing what the Australian sports preference look like. So we saw that AFL, soccer, and tennis being a predominant sport when we ran this report. And then we also see that from the data, what brands are really dominating in this space. And we saw that the likes of McDonald's, Toyota, and also Sportsbet being high up as the leading brand. And then the second was really based on web consumption data. So we're seeing that sports enthusiasts are really interacting with surrounding content across social networks, health, shopping, business, and then also the day of week and the time of day. So we saw that sports-like related content was mostly on a Friday, usually around lunchtime, and then again, probably later at night. So, thinking about sports, probably around when the footy game is on, if they want to look up a player or who the team is playing next week, for example, or even for Supercoach, who they should put and things like that as well. So some really interesting insights you can pull off the back of running any of the TV consumption insights you pulled from the Vita ACR, but then also through that NEXXEN Discovery platform as well. And that is all from NEXXEN today.
Beck, thank you so much. Are there any questions from anyone? And if not, we can connect people to Beck and the team later on. Thank you, NEXXEN, for that session, and Beck, and for your insight. Thank you very much. Just a reminder, everyone, Wednesday, Pitchcella, that's happening. The FLOT, the Female Leaders of Tomorrow mentoring program, is now open. Melbourne, we're coming down on the 3rd. WA will be there the 22nd of November. South Australia will be I think the 4th of November. I'll have to double check that date. I think it's 4th of October. We have got the awards on the 20th of November in Sydney. Commencing, I think it's later on this week, we'll have the infronts. All of the upfront series condensed down to a very, very short message for you. And don't forget, if you have the opportunity, fill in the TV survey so we can collectively negotiate a better deal for the independent sector. Everyone have a fantastic week, and I'll talk to everyone soon. Bye-bye.